alpha channel. Fertility is an important economic trait in poultry breeder operations as it determines the profitability of the poultry farm. Now, fertility in breeder operations are dependent upon several factors like genetic factors, physiological factor, environmental factor, nutritional factor, managemental factor, then endocrinological or hormonal factors. All these regulate fertility and hatchability of adult roosters. Now, in this lecture, we will find the term fertility and hatchability. Now, what is fertility and what is hatchability? Fertility is the number of fertile eggs divided by the number of total eggs into 100. That is called percent fertility. Whereas hatchability is number of chicks divided by number of fertile eggs into 100. This is called hatchability. Both fertility and hatchability, they determine the profitability of the breeder operations. Now, fertility and hatchability both are directly correlated to the quality and quantity of the sperm produced by the rooster. And the quality and quantity of the sperm is directly regulated by the level of testosterone in the blood and in the testes. The hormone testosterone is produced by the testes, and this production of testosterone is under direct control of luteinizing hormone, which is produced from the anterior pituitary. Before going to the subject proper, we must understand some basic things. Weight of each testis is around 1% of the total body weight of the male breeder. Now, suppose a breeder bird is around 3.5 kg body weight, then the weight of each testis will be around 35 grams. Since there are 2 testicles in each breeder birds, the total weight of the testicles will be around 70 grams in an adult rooster of 3.5 kg body weight. Now, we cannot always predict the level of testosterone in the blood or in the testes. Although the amount of sperm produced indicates the level of testosterone in the bird, another important indicator is the size and color of the comb. More the amount of testosterone in the blood, the size of comb will be bigger and it will be bright red in color. So, comb is an important indicator of testosterone level in the blood. Now, if you see the content of sperm produced by a rooster, there is a thumb rule. The thumb rule is each testis produces 100 million spermatozoa per gram of testicular weight. As we have already discussed, in case of a adult rooster, the total weight of testes is around 70 grams. In that case, the testicles will produce 7 billion sperm per day. Sperm production is fairly constant regardless of mating or sperm collection frequency. That means with higher frequency of mating or with higher frequency of sperm collection, the quantity of spermatozoa per ejaculate will be reduced. If ejaculation doesn't occur over a period of 2 to 3 days, or sperm is not collected from breeder birds over a period of 2 to 3 days, the stored spermatozoa will be absorbed in the vas deferens. That means it is not like that if the sperm is not collected for a prolonged period of time or mating has not done for a longer period of time, the total spermatozoa count will be increased exponentially. It is not like that. It is reported that when broiler breeder birds sperm is collected 4 to 5 times per week, we used to get maximum number of spermatozoa. So this is a thumb rule. There is no specific scientific correlate, but it has been found that sperms will be collected 4 to 5 times per week to get maximum number of spermatozoa. Now, with the advancement of age or due to certain physiological or nutritional factors, the testosterone concentration is reduced and thereby the total number of sperm count is reduced in breeder birds. Since fertility and hatchability is directly correlated to the number of spermatozoa and the amount of testosterone available, so with the declinement of testosterone concentration, fertility and hatchability of the breeder bird is reduced accordingly. Now, phytochemicals or plant-derived substances are of great value in maintaining the hormonal balance, testosterone level and sperm count in male breeder birds. As per Ayurvedic literature, herbs like ashwagandha, conch beej, bidarikan, gokru, safed goosli and so on, they improve the hormonal balance and also they improve sperm production in male animals and birds. Current research also showed that 2 of our regularly used spices, one is onion and another is garlic, they improve the quantity of testosterone and spermatozoa count in male birds and animals. Besides herbs and spices, we have found that zinc and folic acid, 2 micronutrients, they also positively influence the amount of spermatozoa and testosterone content in birds. In this slide, we are seeing a picture which depicts the hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis. Now, what is this hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis? Hypothalamus pituitary gonadal axis or HPG axis, it controls the production and secretion of testosterone and other reproductive hormones. Now, if we see the structure, hypothalamus secretes gonadotropin releasing hormone or GnRH. Now, this GnRH, it stimulates anterior pituitary glands, and in that stimulation, anterior pituitary gland secretes 2 hormones, LH or luteinizing hormone and FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. In case of male, LH is also called ICSH or interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Now, release of LH and FSH is also influenced by certain neurotransmitters like dopamine, noradrenaline, adrenaline, etc. Upon stimulation of GnRH, LH is produced from anterior pituitary. LH improves production and secretion of testosterone from the Leydig cell of testes. Now, how LH helps production and secretion of testosterone. LH helps conversion of androstenedione to testosterone in Leydig cell. Androstenedione is converted to testosterone by the action of a particular enzyme which is called 17-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase. This 17-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase is directly under the control of LH. The expression of this enzyme is increased by the action of LH. Thus, LH improves the production of testosterone in the Leydig cell of the testis. Now we understand that testosterone is the principal hormone that influences sperm production or spermatogenesis in male birds and male animals. We have seen so far that LH is released from anterior pituitary and stimulates Leydig cell, whereas FSH acts over Sertoli cells of the testis. When FSH acts over Sertoli cell, Sertoli cell produces a protein which is called androgen binding protein or ABP or testosterone binding protein. Now this testosterone binding protein or androgen binding protein, they diffuses from the Sertoli cells and goes into the seminiferous tubule, and in the wall of the seminiferous tubule they activate the testosterone receptors. So the testosterone receptors are present in the wall of the seminiferous tubule, which is stimulated by androgen binding protein, and this androgen binding protein is produced by the action of FSH on the Sertoli cells. Now after binding of testosterone with the testosterone receptors in the seminiferous tubules, there is a complex cascade of signaling mechanism, and this complex signaling mechanism ultimately produces sperm from germ cells. So testosterone, after combining with the testosterone receptors, they used to produce a lot of signals, and complex signal transduction mechanism occurs that converts germ cells into spermatozoa or sperm cells. So we found that testosterone plays the major role in the production of spermatozoa. But besides production of spermatozoa or besides spermatogenesis, testosterone also plays some important role in male reproductive system. Testosterone helps in the maturation and growth of reproductive organs like testes, vas deferens, seminiferous tubules. All the reproductive system, all the organs of the reproductive systems are under the direct control of testosterone. Their growth, their maturation, their functional activity, everything is controlled by testosterone activity. As we have already seen that the level of testosterone and the count of spermatozoa depends upon the size of the testicle. So growth of testicle is very important. If the testicles are not grown properly, suppose instead of 35 gram, the weight of the testicles remain 25 gram, then the total amount of sperm produced per day will be 5 billion instead of 7 billion. So this is a thumb rule. So growth and development of testicles are very important, and that important episode occurs at the earlier stages of cockerel's life, that is around 14 to 16 weeks of age. to 24 weeks of age, this growth completes. So, we must be very cautious that reproductive health should be optimum during 14 weeks of age to 24 weeks of age, so that we can get a bigger and a mature size of testicles, so that it can produce maximum amount of spermatozoa in later phase of life. Now, so we can understand how different hormones influence the production of spermatozoa in male birds and animals. Now, how we can control the hormonal balance in male birds, so that we can get maximum amount of testosterone, maximum amount of spermatozoa, and ultimately the fertility and fertility can be improved accordingly. Fertimax is a scientifically developed and pharmacologically tested feed supplement. Fertimax is developed by Alpha Bio Solutions. So far, Alpha Bio Solution works in a different way. Their focus is different, their focus is unique. In the field of poultry nutrition, or in the field of poultry health, people use different products for reproductive health of birds, and most of the products are given for 7 to 10 days a month as a course of treatment. But this Fertimax is a feed supplement that should be given throughout the period. Regular feeding of Fertimax improves the production of LH, testosterone, and thereby sperm production. Thus, Fertimax improves fertility and hatchability in breeder operations. Now, Fertimax improves fertility and hatchability through production of luteinizing hormone, testosterone, and spermatozoa. The mechanism of action of Fertimax is very complex and well defined. Here we emphasize one thing, that most of the herbal feed supplement producers in India, they do not explain how their product is working. They do not explain the mechanism of action of their product. They do not explain the active pharmacological ingredient available in their product. So, it is very difficult to assess the actual activity or actual efficacy of the product in scientific basis. We at Alpha Bio Solution work at molecular level of phytochemistry, and we try to understand which particular phytomolecule is effective for a particular activity. A plant can contain more than 100 chemical substances. Not all the chemical substances are very effective pharmacologically. We must understand which are the pharmacologically active components and how it works. Looking into that aspect, we tried to explain the mechanism of action of Fertimax, how it works, how it improves the LH concentration, how it improves the testosterone concentration, what is other mechanisms involved in increasing the sperm content and fertility in breeder birds. If we see at the composition or content of the Fertimax, we will find that it contains Allium cepa or onion, Allium sativum or garlic, Mucuna pruriens or corn seed, Tribulus terrestris or gokru, and zinc in glycine chelated form. These are the major component of Fertimax which causes its pharmacological effect. Now, we are coming one by one. First, we will talk about Mucuna pruriens or paunch beach or on seed. Now, active principle of Mucuna pruriens seed is levodopa or L-dopa. This L-dopa is converted to dopamine and noradrenaline. As we have already mentioned that noradrenaline and dopamine, they stimulate hypothalamus for secretion of more and more GnRH, and this GnRH ultimately stimulates the secretion and release of LH from anterior pituitary gland. So, the main active principle present in mucuna is levodopa, and through levodopa, Fertimax improves LH secretion from anterior pituitary gland. The second component of Fertimax is Tribulus terrestris fruit or gokru fruit. If we see in the slide, the active principle of Tribulus terrestris or gokru fruit is different steroidal saponins. The important steroidal saponin present in gokru fruit is protodiosine, tribulasaponin A, tribulasaponin B, etc. Now this tribulasaponin A, B and protodiosine, they directly stimulate anterior pituitary for release of LH, and ultimately production of testosterone is improved. Now we are coming into the most important component of Fertimax, so onion and garlic. We know that onion and garlic contains a lot of organosulfur compounds. These organosulfur compounds are responsible for the pungent smell of onion and garlic. We have found that if we cut an onion, the tears used to come out from our eyes, and that is due to the organosulfur component present in the onion. In case of onion, the main organosulfur compounds are allyl sulfide compounds. It may be diallyl disulfide, diallyl trisulfide, monoallyl sulfide, so many. In combination, we used to say allyl sulfide compounds. And in case of garlic, the major organosulfur compound is allicin. Now, both these allyl sulfide compounds, allicins and their metabolites, they have been found to improve the secretion of LH from anterior pituitary gland. When this allyl sulfide compounds or allicin is given intravenously, the concentration of LH is increased, the concentration of testosterone is increased. It has been scientifically reported and documented. Another important function of allyl sulfide compound is to increase the level of nitric oxide in testes. Now, what is nitric oxide? Nitric oxide is a free radical gas. It causes local vasodilation. When there is local vasodilation, more and more quantity of blood comes into the testicle with more and more nutrients and other components required for synthesis of testosterone. So, through increase in the production of nitric oxide gas, allyl sulfide improves blood circulation at testis and thereby improves reproductive health. Another important mechanism of action which have been found in case of allicin as well as in case of diallyl sulfides and triallyl sulfides, that they improve the production of cyclic AMP. Now, cyclic AMP is a very important second messenger. They stimulate hypothalamus for secretion of more and more GnRH, and as we have already mentioned that more and more GnRH will stimulate anterior pituitary for secretion of more and more LH and FSH. Thus, the function of allicin and diallyl sulfide present in garlic and onion are multivalent. They directly act on the anti-repetitory, they act through nitric oxide, they act through cyclic AMP, and so on. All these activities are scientifically proven and documented. In the present slide, we are showing how onion can improve testosterone production in male birds and animals through luteinizing hormone, through cyclic AMP, through nitric oxide, and also there is some activity as antioxidant. They also reduce the insulin resistance, and there are so many activities have been demonstrated. By that, they improve the production of testosterone in ladies' cell. At the same time, in this slide we can also see the documented literature where it has been mentioned how onion can improve the testosterone level in male animals and birds. Now in this slide, we can see the scientific documentation where it has been mentioned the role of garlic in the production of testosterone or in the production of male reproductive health, how it works. All these reports have been documented in peer-reviewed journal, and we can cite through the journal to see more detail about the role of garlic, the role of onion, how it improves the reproductive health, testosterone production, and sperm production in male birds and animals. Besides herbs like tribulus, mucuna, onion, and garlic, Fertimax also contains zinc in glycine chelated form. As we know that minerals can exist in different form like inorganic form, organic form, chelated form. The glycine chelated minerals are more bioavailable than inorganic minerals. We have used zinc glycinate in our product Fertimax. Now let us see how zinc helps in male reproductive health. With the stimulation of different herbs, we have found that LH secretion is increased, GnRH secretion is increased, testosterone secretion is increased, and follicle stimulating hormone secretion is increased, and by their cumulative action, testosterone receptors are activated, and cascade of mechanism occurred, and sperm have been produced from germ cells. But after the production of sperm, the sperm is to be activated. This activation of spermatozoa is very, very important. If it is not activated, it will not be functionally active. In seminiferous tubule, there is a protein called sperm activator protein. This sperm activator protein activates spermatozoa after it has been produced. We can see in this slide that sperm activator protein is activated by zinc, and after activation it activates spermatozoa in functionally active form. Thus zinc plays a very, very important role for maturation and activation of spermatozoa. For concluding this lecture, concluding this episode, we can see that we can observe that Fertimax contain different herbs, and herbs have been standardized in terms of their active constituents present like allicin, acetylcysteine, allene in case of garlic, allyl sulfide compounds like allyl disulfide, allyl trisulfide, diallyl sulfide, etc. in case of allium cepa or onion, levodopa present in case of march beech, different types of saponins present in case of tribulus terrestris, and zinc in most active form. Altogether make Fertimax is a scientific formulation It has been proven, it has been found, it has been experimentally and clinically observed that regular feeding of Fertimax at the dose of or at the feed inclusion rate of 1 kilo per ton of breeder feed regularly improves sperm production, fertility and hatchability. Now we recommend to use this product from 14 to 24 weeks of age when the reproductive organ grows, proper growth of testicles, vas deferens and seminiferous tubule is very very important for production of testosterone and spermatozoa in later phase of life. So cockerels must be given 1 kilo per ton of feed, Fertimax premix, from 14 to 24 weeks of age. As far as adult is concerned, we recommend to administer Fertimax daily from 54 weeks of age onwards at 1 kilo per ton of feed. It will maintain the fertility and hatchability of the bird at optimum level. And when there is any drop in semen production due to environmental stress, due to nutritional factor or due to any other factor, Fertimax can be given SOS or whenever it is required. We can assure that Fertimax will provide maximum benefit for the breeder operations by increasing, by optimizing the fertility and hatchability of the sperm. Thank you for listening.